Hey there everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Puborama, and in today's video, we're going to be asking a simple question. What is the best armored car in Grand Theft Auto 5 Online? Now, I want to point out that all the armored cars I have in front of you are fantastic at certain attributes. The car I'm going to be choosing as the best is the one that I personally just like the most for the capabilities it carries. So, what do we have in front of us? Well, off to the side, we have an armored Kuruma. You'll see why that's off to the side in a moment. We've got the Future Shock ZR380, Amani Tech vehicles, the Duke O'Death, and as well the Insurgent Pickup Custom. Now, obviously, there are more vehicles out there. There's the Night Shark, the Technical. You've also got vehicles like the Half-Track. There's a lot of armored cars out there. The reason I've picked these specific cars is because I think they all fulfill different purposes that other cars can do, but these are just the most known of those purposes. So let's start off at the end of the list here. This is the Insurgent Pickup Custom. Now, the Insurgent Pickup Custom is amazing at a lot of different things. First of all, it's quite fast for how heavily armored it is, going around, I think, 95 miles per hour at a top speed. Not too bad at all. As well, it has 27 homing missile capability before it gets blown up. Now, judging that the Oppressor Mark II or the Deluxo only carry 20 missiles, that means you can't blow up this with one mag, and you'd have to go back, delete the vehicle, return it back to your garage, then spawn it back in. That's a pain. And if you're trying to chase somebody for that long, most likely the Insurgent is going to get away. The problem with the Insurgent Pickup Custom is the bulletproof protection. It has none. You can see these bullets just go straight through the car. And that is a serious problem because if you're shooting at anybody on the ground, boom, just right through your head, and you're dead. That is definitely a downside for the Insurgent Pickup Custom. It's also not very fast, so if somebody is determined enough to kill you, or let's say they're in a laser, yeah, they can definitely blow you up with that explosive minigun fairly quickly. So I think the Insurgent Pickup Custom is really good if you're in a super populated lobby, and you're just trying to get from point A to point B, not being blown up by Oppressor Mark IIs. However, I would say even better than that is the next vehicle, the Duke O'Death. The Duke O'Death combines a bit of the survivability an Insurgent Pickup Custom has. It is able to survive 6 homing missiles, which is a lot actually, and it has better frontal window protection. It's not great. You'll notice that like the little armor plates do actually count as armor, and if you're a passenger, you're basically bulletproof unless you shoot right through there, but the chances of that happening are very slim to none. The problem is that, well, if you're in the driver's seat, your head can be shot right through because this slit is not bulletproof at all. And same for the side of the car, so you can basically shoot like this and spray at the head, and you'll murder whoever's driving the Duke O'Death. That is a problem. The Duke does carry very good capabilities, though. Just like the Insurgent, they can both smash cars off the road with their really, really good weight. But, yeah, it doesn't matter because you can be shot in the head with both of these vehicles just driving it. Definitely one of the biggest downsides when it comes to those two types of vehicles. Next up, we have the Amani Tech cars, the Champion and the Buffalo STX. Now, the Champion is a bit better than the STX, at least in my opinion, down to the fact that it's much lower down and the windows are smaller. Look at how large the windows are on the Buffalo STX. And yes, it does have semi-bulletproof windows, but after a while, you're going to cut straight through them. And let's say you're a minigun tryhard, which, let's be real, 90% of the time, the players that were trying to run away are using them. Well, yeah, miniguns will cut right through any armored protection on bulletproof windows, so that sucks. Like, it'll cut directly through the window in the first shot, and it kind of defeats the purpose of semi-bulletproof windows. Like, these are good against AI or somebody that's just trying to shoot at you randomly, but for the most part, well, the semi-bulletproof windows aren't going to protect you for all too long, especially if people are using armor-piercing mags on their Mark II weapons. However, the biggest advantage Amani Tech vehicles have is the fact that they are able to survive up to 12 homing missiles, and they can turn off the ability to be locked on with homing missiles. It's expensive, but definitely worth it. I mean, that is huge. It means unlike the Insurgent where it can actually be homed on, you can't home on these vehicles at all, making them infinitely better when it comes to missile protection. And then we've got, well, the jack of all trades when it comes to one thing, and that is bulletproof protection. It does not matter if you're using a minigun against the armored Kuruma. It does not matter if you're using an MG or even using armor-piercing rounds. You will never penetrate the windows of an armored Kuruma. The problem with the armored Kuruma is this right here, and this is why the car is parked off to the side. It has no explosion resistance. That sucks, and it's the reason why, well, it's a great vehicle for missions, but not necessarily a great vehicle for anything else. So, when you think to yourself, wouldn't it be great if there was a car that had frontal protection from bullets, also could survive missiles, and drove really fast, and was able to push cars off the road? Well, that actually exists, and it's this right here, the Future Shock ZR380. Now, it specifically has to be the Future Shock. There are two other versions of the ZR380. You'll notice there's an Apocalypse, and as well, we can make our way down to the Nightmare. The problem is that you'll notice the Nightmare, the windows don't have that little bit of padding, and that's also the exact same for the Apocalypse. They're kind of slits that you can shoot through. When it comes to the Future Shock, you can already see I've shot just to show, these don't count as spots you can shoot through. The entire front of the Future Shock vehicles are completely bulletproof, which is insane. And the rear has no window because you can hide it, meaning that you also can't shoot through the back over here as well. That is great. It means, again, you have complete bulletproof protection, unlike, well, yeah, this vehicle here, you can just shoot right through the back. Same for the Champion. Same for the... Actually, no, the Duke Death you can't. The Duke Death is really strong on the back of the car. Can't shoot through the back at all. Insurgent, though, yeah, that's a pretty big window. Just shoot the person right in the head. So, when it comes to protection, the ZR380, well, it's got a lot. It's got fully back protection and fully front protection. You do got to worry about the sides, though. You'll notice that, well, none of this counts as actual window protection. It's basically the same as this net here. So, do keep that in mind. But overall, really strong protection. Now, the reason I have two of them spawned here is I wanted to show the different customization you can put on the car. You can either put no bumper and just make it a normal sports car. I really like this. In fact, I own a model that looks exactly like this in my current garage because I just like having a sports car that looks really nice. I actually think the ZR380 is a super cool looking vehicle, and because of that, yeah, I just think it's really cool to have a normal version without the plow, making it look like, you know, an Arena War vehicle. And you'll notice that this car is incredibly fast. It has a special NOS ability. It's the only types of cars in the game. All the Arena War vehicles have them, but it's a special NOS boost. You'll notice at the bottom of my screen, right where for like Franklin's ability is, if I press my A key on the remote, fire will shoot out of my exhaust, and I can go incredibly fast. I can also activate it whenever I want. It's not like rocket boost vehicles, where you have to wait for that rocket boost to go all the way to the end. You can basically just use that NOS whenever you want. It's honestly such a cool ability. I absolutely love that about Arena War vehicles. Now, one thing I should point out is that this isn't the only Arena War vehicle out there that exists. There is obviously the Imperator, and there's a couple other muscle cars as well that exist. You've got the Sasquatch, which is a giant monster truck. I think the ZR380 is the best of the bunch, though, because first of all, as I said, it's got bulletproof frontal protection, which is great. But as well, it can survive up to 3 homing rockets, the 4th one blowing it up. Now, it's not as good as a Monitech. You can't put a homing lock-on jammer. And yeah, the 4th one will blow you up, which makes it about 3 times worse on missile protection than the Monitech. But the fact that you have that bulletproof protection, to me, makes this a much better mission car. And I still think that the top speed on this, a lot of people don't realize that this is actually one of the fastest vehicles in the game. The other day, I made a video talking about the normal fastest cars, and the fastest was the Pariah. It's able to go to top speed of 136 miles per hour. Well, the average speed of using the Future Shock ZR380 is 140 miles per hour. Just look at this insane acceleration when I use that speed boost. It's ridiculous. You don't realize how fast this car is until it really is just flying down the road. And by the way, the best part is that plow actually works. Unlike the stupid, stinky, what is that? The Speedo Custom, where the plow just doesn't work. For the ZR380, the plow does work. But wait, there's more. There's a lot of weapon choices when it comes to the ZR380. I'm running a very small reinforced scoop, but you can also put on a large scoop, and even better than that, the Mega Blade. Well, you can already see there's a bunch of blood splatter on it, but this blade is awesome. Basically, if you just tap into a car, it's gonna send it flying. If you tap anybody, it's gonna insta-kill them. The Mega Blade is insane. I just personally like having the reinforced scoop because I think it looks the nicest, and I'm the kind of person that'll put looks over performance. So, yeah, I've just got the reinforced scoop on my ZR380. Now, you can also put on mounted 50 cal and 40 watt phased plasma turrets. I don't know why it's such a weird name, but either way, you can put on these machine guns. I don't really think there's a point to them because, well, you can't really turn them, and it's not like the weaponized Tampa where it's a huge amount of damage either, so I just wouldn't suggest the primary weapons. I think it looks a lot nicer, as you can see, without them on. And then finally, the best, in my opinion, of all the weapons is the EMP. There are a lot of mines out there. For example, you can put mines on your Monitech vehicles, but they aren't EMP mines. EMP gives you the ability to instantly stop any car from driving. In fact, I can show just how the EMP mines work by, we'll exit the arena with this car. And they are pretty insane. EMP mines are not as good as the gun running vehicles. Like the Insurgent obviously has the ability to drop insanely devastating explosive mines. But EMP mines, if you drive over them, will stop your vehicle. You can't turn, you can't do anything. And sure, it's not going to stop it for the longest time, but I'm still stopped here. I can't move. Still waiting. There you go. So it's about 5-6 seconds of not being able to drive. And you can just place these anywhere as much as you want. So if there's somebody chasing you, sure, they're not going to blow somebody up, but they're going to be just about as effective, judging that, I mean, they can't chase you. Anytime somebody drives over these mines, it will completely stop you. I should also point out that you can double stack these mines, creating a larger explosion as well out of them, and they will actually explode vehicles. That is something that a lot of people don't know. If you use like maybe 5 of these mines in total, they will blow up a car after a while. Just look at how long you can't drive. So I personally believe that out of all the armored cars in the game, the ZR380 is the best. The fact that it has full frontal protection from bullets, the fact that it can survive up to 3 homing rockets, the 4th blowing it up, and the fact that it is the fastest by far of all the armored variants out there makes it the best of the armored cars in Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Obviously, everybody is inclined to their own opinions, and this is an opinionated video. I'm not saying that this is the best. In my opinion, this is my favorite and my best of the armored vehicles. So let me know what you think in the comments down below, what your favorite armored vehicle is, but I'd highly suggest to try this one out. The only thing I will say that is a bit of a bummer when it comes to this vehicle is its handling, because it's got so much weight. Oh my, that was a interesting little bug right there. Yeah, but because this vehicle has so much weight, you'll notice just how much tire spin it gets, and when trying to drive around corners, it definitely struggles. But I guess that's a price you pay to have a super armored car. As long as you put on the brakes, it's actually not bad, and it's super fun to drift with this vehicle. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye!